What's up, everybody? How you doing? Welcome back to the Punk Rock Review podcast. Hanging out with Nitty tonight. We're talking about a couple of. This is a different episode, man. We're not talking about straight up street punk. You know what's funny is I feel like we cover a lot of like really punk rock stuff, but the audience sometimes, and it's a very specific portion of the audience that just thinks we don't cover anything that's really punk rock because we don't talk about Discharge every week or Anal or Gigi Allen or whatever it is that they think is punk rock.
Right.
So this episode is probably going to make all those guys really, really fucking angry, and they're going to tell us that we sold out. Diddy,
let's piss them off. Hey, dude, if selling out means I get that Taco Bell money, I'm in.
See, that's the thing is you say that you don't think that they're selling out. And I think you do know that they're selling out. I just think you're not opposed to doing it, and I don't think there's anything wrong with selling out. But there is a thing, and it does bother some people. I would sell the fuck out immediately.
100%. I would ask why people get so upset that someone sold
out. It's because people have this idea of like honor and like camaraderie, and they think that if these guys did this thing, that they can no longer, like, they don't have that same connection anymore. And I think sometimes that's true. Sometimes it's overreaction.
Yeah.
It's very, very subjective. It's very personal. I quit thinking that stuff a long, long, long time ago when I realized that most bands don't do it. It is probably a very small percentage of people that actually change their behavior strictly for a check. So, does it happen? I'm sure it does to some degree. How often? Who cares? And do any bands that I listen to do it? I don't think so. I feel like I would know.
Right.
Because it would be a behavioral change,
We got to pay our bills too, man.
Unless you're
in the bag.
Unless you're the Goo Goo Dolls, then you definitely sold out.
Because they made choices.
Yeah, they made choices. My thing is like, are you happy doing it? That's the thing is, that's what I meant by you could tell because you could see it in their body language, man. If they're miserable, you're like, ooh, they shouldn't have done this. But if you're up there chilling, dude, I don't care. Play all country. I don't give a shit.
The thing with Scowl, though, and then we'll get into the video, is
with who?
Scowl, the band that.
Oh, Scowl.
Taco Bell on it.
Yeah. Oh, that's what you meant. I don't listen to that. I don't listen to good music. So
I mean, I'm not personally into them, but
I'm definitely not into them.
They're a band that they got big like almost overnight. You know what I'm saying? So the reason they got a lot of shit from the hardcore community and the punk community was because they're considered industry plants or something. There's this idea that like because they have an attractive female vocalist and they kind of look like they fit the role in a lot of ways, that they got successful just by virtue of like looking a certain way, and then were able to kind of skyrocket their career in a very short amount of time when other bands have to continually tour and cut their teeth. So there's this like immediate like hatred, like, yo, like this band got really popular really fast and like fuck them. It's to me
jealousy.
Yeah, jealousy. I get it strikes me as like, okay, yo, like, okay, like dumb. It might not be your cup of tea, but they're out there getting paid, bro, and you're on your mom's couch. So
I think a lot of people don't like the money aspect because they, especially like real gritty, grimy punk guys, because they're all into like anti-consumerism. And I thought you were like that. Honestly, you used to behave that way. You fucking hate Spotify. If you're, I don't understand. Because, hold on. Let me finish. My point is that industry plant is the new buzzword, right? That shit is rare, right? And it's usually within like pop music, not a hardcore band. Scowl isn't an industry plant. That is fucking ludicrous, dude. Like it's these people just can't stand when somebody gets a little bit of success, dude. Like I bet that band never in their wildest dreams thought that they would have that happen to them.
100%.
They weren't aiming for it. It just happened.
It happened.
And they were like, oh, sweet. Like, are they Nepo babies? Are their parents famous or anything?
No, they're just regular kids from.
Then what are we doing, bro? Like, I don't understand it. The only band that I can understand that within our circle that I think might be considered that would be like the Interrupters, because the brothers' dads are all like famous, like not famous, but they're like lifelong musicians, right?
And the girl was on American Idol, I think, too, at some point.
Well, even then, like, what's the problem with that?
Nothing.
Like, but that's the thing is that you and I say there's nothing wrong with it. And there's a whole group of people that disagree with that. And I think it's really, really strange, honestly. I do sincerely believe it all stems from jealousy. I think it all comes from that. It's all about, and nobody will admit that because then they won't be punk rock if they admit that, right? They're like, oh, it's this whole punk point thing. I don't get it. And so I it's one thing that I agree with you about with the Mohawks and the stuff like that. I understand that turns you off because at a certain point of it turns me off, but I see a lot of people that are genuinely just like that, and so I kind of also I see both sides of that coin.
I think that for me, it's more of the aesthetic thing with that. But like,
I love that shit. It looks awesome.
We live in capitalism. We have to make money. We have to survive. We have bills to pay.
Right.
We all have to work. Okay. everyone has that in common. Okay, like I'm not gonna sit here and shit on someone that's out there making money. Okay, like they're in a band, like they shouldn't have to fucking slog along and have nothing and come back from tour with no money every time and be broke.
Isn't that weird that people want them to do that?
Yeah, and that's the thing. So when people shit on these bands that are doing that, I'm like, so you just want them to be fucking have no money and be broke.
That's what they want. That's
and
what
then
they
come
want.
home from tour all the time and be like, yeah, we're punk because we fucking don't make money.
That's exactly what they want.
That's stupid. It's fucking
because somebody told me that they said that Rancid was the least punk band. And I'm like, based on what, dude? Their lyrics? Based on their attire? Based on the fact that they've done it their own way their whole entire career? Like, where exactly are they being posers at? Like, and that, like, I understand that there are examples of poser, quote unquote, but it's again, it's another one of those things that's few and far between. Most people aren't like that. Most people are just doing their thing. And some people, dude, I even have imposter syndrome all the time where I feel like I'm not cool enough to be doing what I'm doing. Oh, well, I'm doing it anyways, man. Like, deal with it. You don't like my channel, don't watch it. Like, I don't. It's weird, man. I want everybody to be involved. Everybody's welcome here, as long as you're not being like, you know, sexist, racist, or anything like that. You're welcome here, you know, dude. Like it's very, very strange. Like, I remember that all started in like high school, right? I thought we would grow out of it, and some people just simply don't. It's weird, man. I understand it when you're in high school because you're really immature. That's the way an immature person thinks.
The people that hate the hardest are the people that are the most insecure about
very much so. Absolutely.
So I mean, like, you know, if we're gonna just keep it a buck, that's what it looks like to me. But you know, we can segue into the content.
Right. Yeah. So no, but it is important to talk about this, especially when we're talking about a band like this, because whether they sold out or not is irrelevant because we're not talking about their later career anyways, but they are a band that if you tell somebody within the punk community, hey, you know, this band's got like a kind of pretty punk rock album, I think most people would either not know about it or disagree. And I don't know, I listened to it twice and I don't see how anybody could listen to this and disagree. It's the Goo Goo Dolls. The album is called Hold Me Up. It came out in 1989.
Was it 89? Oh, I thought it was 90.
November 30th, 1980 freaking 9, dude.
Yeah, man.
This band came out as the result of Operation Ivy breaking up. This was the savior of the punk rock scene.
This was the third album, actually.
I know. Isn't that crazy? Are those also kind of like in the punk realm?
I mean, the first one's super punk.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and then it gets progressively more and more melodic.
Okay.
Until like 90, like whatever 5 when they had that song that gets them on the radio and they
and they popped off, dude. But like, also you have 3, maybe 4 albums coming out, and you don't deserve a little success, man. You like, I don't understand. And not only that, but like, don't most punk rockers that you talk to, when you go, hey, what do you listen to? Most of them go, yeah, kind of everything, man. I listen to all kinds of music. I like a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of pop, a little bit of jazz. So then how can you tell me that it's weird that a band might take this direction? Like, oh, I made a couple of punk albums. Oh, you know what? We just wrote some songs. They came out really melodic and pretty, and we had some money this time, so we went to a good producer, and bing, bang, boom, we got a nice song, and it's a moderate hit, and boom, there you go, off the races, and people get angry about that, but I see it as kind of an awesome little story.
Yeah, I mean, they have an interesting story too. I mean,
dude, lay it on me.
I mean, I don't really. I had to read a little bit about them earlier today, you know, for this pod. But like, they were signed to Metal Blade Records out of Los Angeles. I noticed that.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, and apparently that record did them horribly. Like they went broke from Metal Blade. So they signed a contract with Metal Blade in like 1987, I think, maybe, and they had a 5-album contract with them. So that includes their album up to 1995, by the way. That's the one that got them. But Metal Blade, all their stuff was actually what's the word I'm looking for? Distributed by Warner Brothers.
Okay.
Right. So the label was small, but the reach was big, right? So they were able to go on a lot of big, you know, tours and actually get a lot of notoriety that way.
Grow a fan base.
Yeah, early in their career, but they got like pennies to the dollar on like album sales.
That's crazy.
You know, and they came back from tour with no money all the time, and you know,
man, that sucks, dude.
And then the alcohol and drugs and all that shit combined. You know, that's the whole thing too. But the Goo Goo Dolls, like their first 3 albums were just straight up punk records.
Well, you told me that they sounded kind of like we were talking about Lawrence Arms, and you were like, "Yo, the Goo Goo Dolls had an album that sounded kind of like that," and I was like, "What?" And I think you played a song, or like you requested one or whatever, and I was like, "Yo, that's crazy!" And I like it did. It sounded like the Lawrence Arms, and I wrote some stuff down, and one of the things that I wrote down was on the very first song. I think it's called "Laughed." I think laughing.
Yeah.
It sounds exactly like if you took the Lawrence Arms music and mixed it with like a little bit of American Steel's vocals. And there's like this really funky bass line through the whole thing.
Yeah.
Dude, that song is a really good like jump off point because if you like that kind of music, it'll grab you quick and it'll go through the whole record. You go through it and they slow down a little bit. There's a little bit of what they got going on. You go to bed? There's a little bit of what they got going on later in their career in this album. You can hear hints of it, just kind of like you can hear that with like Rancid and stuff. Love you.
Hi, Rob.
That's not Rob, that's Nitty.
Hi, Nitty.
Hi.
She doesn't have her glasses on.
It's all good.
That's true.
We're both brown too. I get it.
Damn, son.
What are you trying to say? I'm playing.
Nothing. You said it. You didn't try to say anything.
We all look the same. I'm playing.
What, babe?
You talking shit about me?
And he said like, we're both brown, I guess.
Yeah.
She just goes, yeah. Anyways, fucking A, dude. She's the master of like awkward like interruptions. She does it to me, dude. Yes, bro. Anyhow,
I wasn't talking shit for the record.
Oh no, dude.
All right.
Nor does she care.
Cool.
But like, there's a lot of bands where you can listen to their music and go, oh, here's a good example: the Bouncing Souls. If you listen to their early material, dude, you can hear Gold Record and Anchors Away coming. You can hear it from a mile away. But with the band, you can hear it coming. So I don't understand why anybody would listen to this, like it, and then get pissed later on. I may not listen to the later music, but I don't get pissed. I will say this though. I didn't know that they had these old albums. So when the Goo Goo Dolls broke, I only knew them as their famous stuff.
Yeah.
And I used to clown this band a lot. The guy looked ridiculous. He looked like a lady.
That name song, right? With the acoustic guitar. Remember that one from the 95?
There were so many bad
But you'll notice on this record, the guy that later in their career that sang all their music, that when they were popular, was not the guy singing these songs. It's a different dude. So Johnny Resnick was the guy who ended up being the lead vocalist later in their career.
Okay.
Who sings all the songs you don't like that Irish song. I'll give up forever to
I hate. Oh, so it's a different guy completely.
It's a different guy. I mean, he was in the band. He played guitar, but he didn't sing.
Interesting.
The guy singing was a different dude. He played bass.
Oh, that should get that guy back on the vocals.
I mean, that's the thing. People love that. Like punks that know about the Goo Goo Dolls are like, yeah, bring back, Robbie. Like, we don't need like Johnny.
Dang, that's crazy.
Johnny has some good songs on this record, though. You'll notice
you can hear him a few times.
Yeah,
like, I know I heard him a little bit, but I also knew it was somebody else. I was like, it has to be somebody different because it is incredibly different. But like,
yeah, different dude for sure.
Yeah, it was a good record, and as a matter of fact,
it was fun, right? You liked it, you enjoyed it.
I did enjoy it. I don't know if fun would be the word I'd use to describe it, but I don't know that I would call it unfun either. Fun to me means something different than it means to you, I think.
Got
it. Let's see.
You got some notes?
I got a couple of notes here, but I also wanted to pull up the albums. I wanted to look at because I think it was a pretty quick record. It didn't last a long time.
Yeah, it was pretty short.
Isn't it like 14 songs, 40 minutes, something like that?
Let's see. Shorter than that. What's
that might be the Gaslight one.
Yeah, that's Gaslight Anthem. Let's see. What's the runtime for this record?
Here we go. 14 songs. Son of a bitch, I didn't put it on here. I was just to Google that shit.
It's probably like 35 minutes.
Something like that. What's the album called again?
Hold Me Up.
That's what I thought. Okay, Hold Me Up.
Yeah.
My short-term memory is actually where the problems lie. It's not even the long-term stuff. I can start to remember things long-term, but like if you tell me something 5 minutes later, I'm not gonna remember what it was. What? Which it sucks. Dude, it sucks, bro.
I know, I feel it,
man. Yeah, it was 40 minutes. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, 40 minutes, 14 songs, 40 minutes. Yeah, so the second, or I guess it might be the second song, Just the Way You Are. It sounds like Chicago punk mixed with Gaslight Anthem. It's really strange because it does sound like that to me. It's weird that this band has these sounds early on. There's a great guitar lead in that song. The production as a whole is really good on this record. So Out of Line, I put we're right back to sounding like the Lawrence Arms. What the fuck? This is so crazy. Like, dude, it's so strange listening to this album. Out of the Red is like Little Richard infused punk rock song with Chuck Berry on lead guitar.
Yeah,
I say anybody should go listen to Out of the Red. It's a really, really good song. It's less than 2 minutes, dude. It's exactly what I want out of a punk rock song. Never Take the Place of Your Man. The music and the lyrics in this one, the music.
That's a cover, by the way.
Is it really?
Prince song. Yeah, it's
Oh,
Prince.
it's a Prince song?
And the guy singing it like some like old dude. It's like a black dude.
Yeah, it didn't. Okay, so it didn't. Okay, so
it's no one that's even in the band.
I put the music and the lyrics on this one are awesome. The vocals take me a long time to get used to, but ultimately I kind of like it. This album's pretty fantastic. Very strange outcome on this song. Sounds like a completely different band. LOL. I guess because it was a different singer.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have included that. It works. Wait, hold on. Oh, there's something at the end that I thought they should have taken out. Oh, at the end, there's a thing that they do at the end of that song. They should have pulled it out. That song was really long, wasn't it? Let's see.
Was there like a jam session? It's like 3 minutes and 49 seconds.
Maybe I'm thinking about a different song. Anyways, this album sounds like it could be the soundtrack of a movie like High Fidelity. Just indie enough to be cool, accessible enough to move a few units, and punk rock enough to be not really corny at all. It's a very strange mix of like sounds and emotions. I really quite liked it. The song Hey brings us again back to a gritty Chicago punk rock show at Fireside Bowl. The drums are really good in that song, making, dancing pogo and shit, all kind of fun. It's got a catchy hook about wanting to make sure you're not wasting your time with a person that doesn't really want to be with you. It's a very good mix of punk and alternative that I don't typically like, honestly. I usually don't like stuff that's this alternative sounding, but this album is really good. On Your Side, it sounds like The Offspring. Go listen to that song again. It sounds like The Offspring.
Yeah.
I can totally hear them playing that song. Again, and that song, more really great bass lines, and the drums stood out to me a little bit.
Yeah.
Throughout this whole album, there was a lot of times where I would hear the bass and it would just come right through everything. It would just slice right through it. And their bass tone was not distorted at all, which typically I go, I want something a little crunchier, but it was good, man. I think it's because they had a good bass player and he was competent, but he wasn't cocky. So he was just playing really, really well.
He was great. Yeah. I mean, it's also an 80s album too. So it's got that 80s production.
That's accurate. That's accurate. Kevin's song is more slower, more emotional. It's more like a pop ballad. It's got some piano, no lyrics. Picks up, sounds like 15 or Crimshine, honestly, to me. But with piano. Not sure if it's just a dedication to this dude Kevin or just an instrumental song or whatever, but it was pretty interesting. Know My Name is probably the second or third best song on the album for me.
I love that song. It's a great song.
Yeah. It sounds so much like the Lawrence Arms that I bet you could convince people that it was the Lawrence Arms. Strong Brendan Kelly vibes on that one. Let's see.
I would say the Lawrence Arms, I would like invert these things you're saying, right? I would be like, the Lawrence Arms sound like the Goo Goo Dolls.
Sure, you can do that if you want to. Go for it. I don't care. This sounds like the Lawrence Arms to me. I heard the Lawrence Arms first. That's why it sounds like the Lawrence Arms to me. I didn't say that these guys were influenced by the Lawrence Arms. I said it sounds like the Lawrence Arms. Quit trying to fuck with me, Nitty.
I'm not fucking with you, man. Jesus Christ.
But I did put on here that it's not as nihilistic with the lyrics, and that's something that's like a dead giveaway.
Yeah.
If you're trying to convince somebody, you're like, this is the Lawrence Arms. Like, he's not shitty enough. I don't think so, man.
Yeah.
Also, what's up with Million Miles Away? Why does everybody cover that fucking song? I mean, it's a good song. So I guess that's why. Yes. You didn't know that was a cover. Dude, Bullshit Detector has that on their CD coming out.
Who covered? What song is this?
It's
Plim Souls.
Yeah. Plim Souls.
No
Plim Souls. I can't even say that fucking name. But dude, even the Offspring played that song.
Okay.
Yeah, it's covered by a lot of bands.
Nice.
Very good song though. I mean, I guess that's why it's covered, right? The album closes with a live track 2 days in February. It's an acoustic track, pretty solid, not really my jam. The album's great though. It's got an amalgamation of sounds that I love and people I never knew I'd like at all. This album is great, man. I think I'd probably give it like a 8.2 out of 10.
Yeah, it's a good album. You should go back and listen to the other two that came out before this one.
Only if I can say it sounds like the Lawrence Arms.
You probably like. I mean, You know what you might think it does. They're actually way more like Raw. Their first
Yeah.
two records. Yeah, they're
I
different.
really thought you were going to point out their first album when you said to listen to these guys, but there was a third one, and I was like, I'm very interested in what their earlier stuff sounded like. But
Yeah, it's the earlier stuff is more like Replacements style, kind of like snotty, kind of like like snotty and angry sounding, punk.
I kind of feel like I need to buy this stuff on CD now, which sucks because I'm running out of space. Look at the cover of their second album, Jed. It's got some redneck dude in a truck driving with a liquor bottle in the seat.
Exactly.
Very irresponsible, guys. Very irresponsible.
Drinking and driving. He's having a good time.
He really is. So what's your overall thoughts on the record?
Well, I mean, I didn't really know the Goo Goo Dolls were a punk band until maybe like a couple of years ago, when people started to point out like some of the cool punks were like, oh, the Goo Goo Dolls, or like I would read like a review about a band that I liked, like a new band, and they would mention that they were influenced by this band. I'm like, how? This doesn't sound anything like the Goo Goo Dolls. Like, what the fuck? Like, what era of the Goo Goo Dolls are they talking about? So then naturally, because I read this, it kind of, went on my own journey to see what I could find. And I was like, holy shit, the Goo Goo Dolls were a punk band at some point. And like, I just kind of started to listen to it and like it. This was the album I liked. The one that came after this record in 93 is actually also very, very good too. They get a little more alternative, it's different. But
yeah, A Boy Named Goo has a lot of alternative rock on it.
Yeah, that was the like album after the album.
Right.
After this one. But no, and then I just started to listen to them, and because I think they kind of echo the Replacements and Husker Du a lot, in their music and their songwriting. It just kind of resonated with me because you can hear that shit all over this record.
Yeah,
at least I can.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not gonna say you're wrong because I don't. I just didn't hear that stuff. That doesn't mean it's not there.
So,
yeah, what were your favorite songs on it?
Favorite songs on this record: "Laughing," "Just the Way You Are," "There You Are," "Know My Name," "On Your Side."
Damn, son.
Hey. I like most of the record. To be honest with you, it's easy to listen to. The songs are short. They're hooky. They're poppy. They're, catchy. They're simple. It's kind of everything I look for in like a punk record.
Well, Laughing, and I think Know Your Name were the two originals that I liked the most. Obviously, I like the Million Miles Away cover.
Yeah.
There was one more that I really liked. I just didn't write it down. Now I can't figure out which one it was. There's a bunch of good songs on here, though. There wasn't anything on here that I thought was outright bad, which is honestly kind of a surprise. I really expected there to be at least a few songs that I thought were terrible. I think there was something that was really short that I thought was kind of unnecessary. It was 22 seconds. I thought that was kind of a stupid addition, but I don't know why they put it on there. So it's their album, But I also don't like intros and outros. So anything that would resemble that, I typically don't really care for. And I don't even know where my beef with the intros, outros came from, dude. Like I just realized one day that I hated all that shit. And I don't know why. But
you mean like an intro to an album or to a song?
Either or. I don't like any of that shit. It's stupid.
What does an intro mean exactly? Like a
You don't know what an intro is, Nitty?
Well, I'm curious. Like, what do you like? What do you mean exactly? Like,
let's say if you have a 2.5 minute long song, and then the first 25 to 30 seconds is like fading in with a piano, and then it goes.
Oh, okay.
And then it goes. Dun 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 dun. That shit is so fucking dumb. Just play the song. Or if you have an album. And okay, as an example, that album that I just dropped on the channel, what was it called? The Plagues, High Crimes and Cheap Lines. The album is like a 9 out of 10. Literally, if it just didn't have the intro and it didn't have the outro, I would have given it a straight up 10. But I fucking hate intros, dude. They're like, because I like lyrics a lot, right?
Yeah.
They're typically lyricless. If it's got lyrics, it's not really an intro. It's a song. It may be a short song, but it's a song.
Yeah.
Intros and outros to me just feel like a waste of time. but the bands create this stuff, so it must mean something to them. So I don't care if a band does it, but they shouldn't care if I tell them I don't like it.
Right.
I'm stupid and I'm bad at this stuff, so it
Okay.
is what it is.
Whatever. It's your opinion. It's cool.
I don't know, man. Some people don't agree with that. But yeah, I really enjoyed the album a lot. It was a very big surprise to me. I think it's cool as hell that I can go back and listen to a band like this that I know
Goo
for
Goo
a
Dolls.
fact that in high school I hated.
Honestly, here's my thing with this band. I don't get. How do you go from this to writing that Iris song, bro? Like, how is that even like a natural progression?
Bro, you're the one that told me Selling Out didn't exist.
I don't think that's what it was, though. I think
I
these
know,
guys actually
I'm just
genuinely like the
kidding.
shit that they were writing somehow.
Sure, maybe. I don't know. I don't really care either because
It
that
doesn't
album.
matter.
But no, yeah, I also don't really understand that. But it's like I also don't understand why you'd go from the other singer to this guy they have currently. Like I don't understand that at all.
I think his voice has more mass appeal or something.
Well, that's it. Is that they wanted to make some money and call it what you want. If that's what they genuinely wanted, then that's not selling out to me. It's just buying in. Do your thing, man. I don't give a shit. But I know a lot of people that would call that selling out, which whatever. I don't give a shit. If you want to make a bunch of money and that's what you want to go do, hopefully you're doing some good with your money. But other than that, I don't really care.
Right.
I think rich people are weird. So, there's that. But rich people probably think punk rock guys are weird. And they're probably right.
Probably right.
Yep. Oh, Goo Goo Dolls. God, I still can't believe that they had an album like this, honestly. It's really strange, dude, because it's a really good fucking punk album.
It is. It's fact this sound of there's a bunch of albums that came out like this in the late 80s, early 90s. There's different bands that had a very similar sound because they were drawing from a lot of the same influences. Because they kind of rode this fine line between like not pure punk band, but also not like alternative, like music.
Well, there was a mix when alternative rock and college radio was starting to get big in the late 80s, before Nirvana and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There was like this weird mixture of bands that were like intellectual and college radio like ish kind of, but they also liked punk. And so they were making this stuff that was like pretty aggressive, but it was also real what's the word I'm looking for here? Like
sophisticated,
real melodic,
Yeah.
It was melodic, but it was aggressive, and this would fall into that camp. Now, there was also a lot of different kinds of that stuff, but there was a lot that sounded like this, where it was very clearly going to head down the alternative rock radio lane once that lane opened up and became available, because I don't think it was really available yet. And so once bands started coming out and getting bigger that had a softer side or a more melodic side or a slower tempo side, whatever you want to call it, they were like, oh, cool. There's our lane we were looking for. We didn't realize we wanted that. When we were 20, we wanted to scream into a microphone, but we're 30 now. We want to play this stuff. That's what we like. That's what we listen to. These are our peers. And,
Right.
I think a lot of that is as much as I don't like Husker Du's music, I can totally understand how they influenced a band like this. It's very clear. The Replacements.
Parts.
I like the Replacements quite a bit, but what I've heard anyways.
So, I mean, these bands were a good, I guess, alternative to what was available. That's why they called it alternative rock, right? Because it was all based on what was available on the radio. Like you either had like the jock jam, hair metal stuff, or you had like the oldie station or the classic rock, like Zeppelin and fucking all that shit.
It all started with alternative lifestyle. It was all bands that were alternative lifestyle bands. It was bands like Nirvana that were, like Pearl Jam. They were just like, they were alternative lifestyle. It wasn't necessarily just about the music. It had something else that went with it.
Yeah.
And, that's why you could have like an alt chic like style, because it was a lifestyle. So I just think that it took a little while for that lane to develop. And once it did, bands like this reside there. And, were these dudes ever going to have like, mohawks and a leather jacket? Almost certainly not. Did one dude in the band have like that? Probably at some point.
Yeah.
So they had, an eclectic group of guys that came in and made music, and they all were friends. And if you had a group, if me and you and let's say me, you, Andrew, and Darren all made a band together, right? All four of us. It would be an eclectic sound because it would draw from really gnarly lo-fi hardcore stuff that you like to more melodic, poppier street punk like oi stuff that I'm into. Andrew would bring a bunch of hardcore influences, and Darren has a lot of rock and he's got a very broad palette, but like he brings a lot of rock and roll stuff to the show.
Yeah.
And so like if we had a band, it would probably resemble something like this. Not necessarily these kind of sounds, but
yeah,
it would be real. You'd have some slower stuff, some really chaotic fast stuff, and it would just have to work like that because we're a group of guys and we're wanting to be in a band together.
Totally. And if you saw these guys too, and I think this kind of plays into like why they weren't successful, because appearances and aesthetics are also a part of the whole package in music too, right? I mean, you're watching these guys, so they didn't look cool at all. Like they had some weird fucked up hair. They looked they kind of wore some like shitty clothes that like didn't quite fit them. So it's like a subculture, right? Like anything else, a counterculture. So
right.
People, there was a niche audience of people that gravitated to what.
Well, that's why they got the pretty guy. They were like, "We don't look cool, man. Let's get the pretty guy."
Yeah, no. I mean, yeah, and then now he has like a bunch of plastic surgery, and she looks fucking crazy. But like,
he looks like. Never mind. It's not nice. I'll shut up.
So Goo Goo Dolls, yeah. That's the band.
It was pretty good, man. I enjoyed it. It was a good pick.
Good record.
All right. We didn't even really talk about. Oh yeah, we did. Never mind. All right, hold on one second. Now this one. Did you listen to this album? I hope you did.
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So, very few times in my life can I point to like a day and a time where my life changed. On August 19th, 2008, Side 1 Dummy dropped the Gaslight Anthem's sophomore release called the 59 Sound. It was called the 59 Sound, and literally my life kind of like went and went down a different lane. Like I think if this album hadn't come out, something about my life would be different right now. Now I know what that is. I don't. But I can tell you that a whole bunch of bands that I like now, I would never even discovered if it wasn't for this album. I knew about the band before the album came out because I was a fan of Sink or Swim. My band had opened up for them, I don't know, a year or so before this, whatever, in this little club. So I knew who they were, but they were not on my radar anymore. They were like one of those bands where I thought they were like a one and done, had a good EP and an album, and then they were going to go do something different. And then somebody tells me like, hey, that band Gaslight Anthem's got a new album coming out. And I was like, no shit. And it came out and I was like, oh, I like the cover. It feels very, I don't know if I used the word Americana, but it felt that. Yeah. And at that point in my life, I needed something that was a little more rock and roll. And I bought it and I listened to it. And I remember the very first time I heard it, I didn't really like it. I was like, oh man, they cleaned up all the stuff that I liked about the first album. Mm-hmm. And I was like, And then I played it again and I was like, okay, there's some melodies here I really like, and there's some good hooks in this album. And by like the fifth time I played it, I literally could not stop listening to it. I played it over and over and over. Dude, I played the CD so much. I had friends that were like, I fucking cannot stand that band anymore. That's all I was listening to. And I think it coincided. I know it coincided with a breakup. So like, I'm wondering if that kind of helped me really fall into this band, because there's a lot about this record that I love. And it's honestly, man, it's like on a very short list of perfect albums to me. It's how many songs is on here? Like 12 or 13? 12. It's 41 and a half minutes long.
Yeah.
So the songs are a little longer than I typically like, but they flow so well, and the picture's painted so perfectly that you don't really know. Sometimes you can listen to this album front to back, and if it's on a CD, you won't even realize what song you're on. Like you'll think you're on song 5, you'll be on song 8, and you're like, oh shit. Or you'll be on you'll think you're on 9, you'll be on song 4, because you're like, oh shit. They flow together. Like the production and the layout for this album, and the whoever like put the songs in order did a fantastic job. Now I don't expect you to feel the same way that I do about this record. Mm-hmm. They're one of my favorite bands of all time. This album is very easily their best record. I like Sink or Swim a tad bit more on like any given day, but they're basically a coin toss for me. It very much mirrors Let's Go and Out Come the Wolves. You know, a little more raw, a little faster, a little dirtier with a lot more production on the next one. But you put them together to make a really good pair. And I think that if you're drinking in a bar alone, great album. If you're driving your truck down the road, going somewhere, you got a long road trip, could be a car, whatever, fucking who cares? Great album.
Could be a car.
You get dumped by a girl that you really love.
Yeah.
Great album. You know, there's any number of things that this album could be a soundtrack to, and they're all different emotions. It's a beautiful record, man. Brian Fallon's vocals, literally, probably like my second favorite of all time. They're so good, dude.
Yeah. For what it is, it's awesome. Not my thing personally. I'm not big on the Americana thing normally.
Yeah.
But when I first listened to the record, you know, I'm going to be completely honest. I was like, man, I can't sit through this. This is rough. It reminded me of the music that they play at the Cheesecake Factory when you're taking a piss. You know?
I mean, I disagree with that. That's funny.
It's like super polished. It's almost like Starbucks rock.
Well, have you heard their first album?
I mean this in a good way, by the way. I'm gonna sing a lot of, you know, positive things about these bands too in a minute.
Dude, I mean, dude, sure, I don't really care.
No, I actually, like I said, I'm not too familiar with this band, but it's funny. I listened to this guy. Remember I sang that American Steel podcast recently?
Right.
I was check this out. It's the drummer of American Steel talking to this guy about like the band's history. That guy I listened to in that podcast, this was the scene. He was in a band with Brian Fallon called Lanemeyer in the 90s, a pop punk band.
How do you spell that?
Lanemeyer, Lanemeyer.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. I don't know much about them, but he talks about them a lot. And apparently, I mean, obviously this guy, he took off and went his own way. I mean, the songwriting is great on this record. It's really hooky. The pop sensibility is amazing. It's barely a punk album though. It's very.
It's not a punk album.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's not that means anything, right? It's definitely
but I can say that because it's not. I don't. This is a rock and roll record, man.
It's a rock and roll record. I hear a lot of Springsteen.
Yeah, dude, they work with him, dude. That's their shit.
Yeah, no,
dude.
Totally. I hear a lot of the Smiths too, like in the guitar parts. I know that Brian Fallon was in a band called This Charming Man, which is named after a Smith song at one point. And a lot of like Sam I Am and a lot of like early East Bay pop punk stuff. Like little echoes of it here and there.
Right.
You know?
Well, the album's not a punk record, but it's played by a bunch of guys from within the punk rock scene. So you have these little hints of it. But no, dude, you're not going to offend anybody, I don't think, by saying it's not a punk record. I love this band, and I call them a punk rock band because they're very DIY ethic-wise. Yeah. But their sound is not a very punk rock sound. Like, you know, this is a really good example of my point of you can be a punk rock dude and play in a band that's not punk rock, and you can also be a not very punk rock dude that plays in a punk rock band because there is a sound that goes along with it. Now, do I think they most of the time are both one and the same? Yes, but there are obviously examples of both of those two things. No, sorry, continue your thoughts.
No, it's okay. That being said, I listened to it a second time and I liked it a little bit more. I listened to it a third time and liked it a little bit more. It's a grower. It's a grower of a record. And I think this is an album that if it would have caught me at another time in my life when I was younger, because it has a youthful energy to it.
It does, but it also has an older energy too, though. It's weird.
Yeah, but it has this like sentiment of like young love and like
right.
You know, like that passion and
dude, it's got a lot of the carnival. You can smell the fucking funnel cake and the popcorn.
It's like,
you can.
Yo, if I was like 15 years old or 16 and I was just like total like a walking hormone that was just like fawning over girls all the time.
This
like
is exactly what I love about this.
This is the album that I probably would have gravitated toward because it's got all those elements. But as a 42-year-old man, like I'm just in a different place now, right?
No, for sure, dude. I have to read you my notes real quick because I think we actually might really agree on this album. Maybe not as far as like how good it is or how much we love it, but just like about our thoughts on the music. So I wrote down, no other band out there really sounds like this band. Great Expectations is a very good, catchy opening song. I love the reverb on the vocals. Brings like an Elvis type sound to a modern punk rock and roll. This is like if Elvis and Bruce Springsteen got mixed up with the Bouncing Souls. That's what it really. That's really what it feels like to me. The stories that Brian Fallon tell through his lyrical ability they're incredible. His stories are incredible. The title track is an infectious earworm that I've listened to so many times. It's got great sing-along parts. Even on songs like Old White Lincoln that are a slower pace, there's a catchiness to the song. Like you said, hooks for days, man.
Yeah.
Clean channel guitar work, and then this dude's voice with some background vocal harmonies. It really does capture you and send you to a different place in a different time. The music and melody on High Lonesome aren't my favorite, but the lyrics in that song are incredibly powerful, and I love them, and I like the song because of that. Film Noir starts out with a dark blues melody. It's one of my favorite songs. The whole package is perfect. It picks up and gets a bit heavy in parts, but it's got a great lighter chorus that promotes singing along in a live setting. It's like that. That's one that when they play live is really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
And then I put down that this band and this album really reminds me of my dad, that he was a redneck. He would have loved this album though, man. My dad was like a redneck type dude. That's all he really listened to. There was like certain albums and bands that I would listen to. He really liked early Dropkick Murphys for some reason. I didn't understand it because he wasn't a particularly hard worker, and he certainly doesn't like punk, or didn't like punk. Any song about Miles Davis better be fucking good, and Miles Davis and the Cool certainly is.
Yeah.
Plus, they got hand claps in that song. Any song with hand claps, good in my book. I love hand claps. You really have to dig into the lyrics on an album like this.
Yeah, I can tell.
It's a storyteller. This is a daydreamer's album. If you sit back and just listen to this record and think about shit and think about women or think about cars or think about your youth, whatever, dude, this shit will fly by, dude. This is a daydreamer's album. That's what I've done with this album. Like when I first heard it, here, let me finish reading this off because I'm almost done, and then I'll tell you what. So there's a brightness to songs like The Patient Ferris Wheel. This band tells stories like S.E. Hinton, straight up, dude. What's up with the random Dickie Barrett ghost vocals in that, by the way? It was so strange. Dude, it was so weird. It comes straight out of left field. But do you know who S.E. Hinton is?
I don't. Who's that?
S.E. Hinton wrote The Outsiders, Tex, and Rumblefish. The Outsiders is my favorite book of all time.
Okay.
I have Stay Gold tattooed on my neck because of that shit. But this album, it feels like if S.E. Hinton was to write a rock and roll album, it would be this record. The song Even Cowgirls Get the Blues, it's like maybe like my third, fourth, or fifth song all time. It is like if you ask me my top 5 songs all time, this will be on that list. I don't know why. It's not typically a song that I would hear and go, oh, he'll probably like this, because it's not fast. But his vocals on it, dude, it's just, you know what it is, dude? I've sat and drank whiskey by myself and cried listening to that song. That's the kind of shit this is, dude. Man, it's got a wonderful vocal performance with a haunting, sad melody. Actually, I wrote it down. But I've sat alone and sulked and drank to that song so many times after making very stupid decisions. This band has kept me company many a lonely night after being a dumbass man. So I guess that's what I was thinking, And then when you get to Here's Looking at You, Kid, we have one of those Daydreamer love songs, dude. I mean, this is fucking good, dude. This shit is awesome. But when I first got a hold of this album, iPods were real big. And I remember very clearly, I didn't have a car, but I had like a silver like BMX bike. And I lived in Houston. There's a place called the Heights. It's like this. It's called the Historic Heights. It's all these old houses. All the artists and punk kids and resellers and weird people live in the Heights. It's a cool ass neighborhood, right?
Yeah, it sounds like it. Yeah,
dude. I used to live in a garage apartment. This dude had like a little. It was so crazy. I was like in my early 20s, and there was a literal 3-room house in front where these 3 like 20-year-old girls lived, and then behind their house, over their garage, was my apartment, and we shared like the same washer and dryer. Oh, dude, I got stories about that shit. Anyways, I was dating this girl at the time, and it just kind of, I fell hard. It exploded. Yeah. But I remember riding my bike around the neighborhood like at like 3 a.m. with my iPod in my back pocket of my jeans, with the cord up the back of my shirt, my headphones plugged in, and I literally had a playlist with like I don't know, man. It might have had like 5 songs on this album, but they were all like 6 or 7 times each. It was just one big long of the same songs. But that song, even Cowgirls Get the Blues, I think I had it on there like 6, 7 times.
Yeah.
And I was riding the bike around, dude, smoking cigarettes and just crying, bro. So fucked up about this girl.
Oh my god.
Oh, dude. So like, while it's like a shitty memory kind of, but it's also like a really kind of a funny thing because it's so pathetic, dude. It was such a like, and I fucked it all up, dude. I fell hard for this stupid.
We've all been there, man. That's what being in your early 20s is about,
right? And so this album is just like that feeling. It's like like, you know, lost love, you know, terrible choices, missed chances, broken hearts. Like I could feel like you grow up, you go to college, you leave your girl that you thought you loved so much, and then you come home and she's knocked up with some dude that she used to tell you she hated. That's the shit. This is like Varsity Blues. I don't want your life. Bam, football on your chest.
Yeah, it's a very
God, I hate that I knew that was
time in a place record, and also it's like it's like a saga, you know, like a teen coming of age drama. Like it's like the ballad or like the epic of like a 22-year-old man as he like finds himself in life and through life and love and stuff. And
well, on top of all that, they're really fucking good at playing their instruments, and he's really good at singing. So it's like you get all the cool shit, but you get like quality in addition to that, which again, kind of rare.
Right. I mean, this typically isn't the kind of punk I go for or music I listen to.
Right.
But this band, I mean, honestly, they've taken off. I mean, I don't know. I was reading a little bit more about them now, and they're doing crazy shit and playing big festivals. Like they're considered like a A-tier rock band at this point, you know? Because that's what they gravitated toward. And now he's fucking with like Eddie Vedder and shit. Like he's doing stuff with
a better vocalist.
I know, but it's just like, you know, I think I was watching an interview with this guy because he is in a documentary about the Replacements.
Oh, nice.
So for 45 minutes, he's just like talking about how much he loves the Replacements, right?
It doesn't surprise me at all.
No, not at all. I mean, I can tell they draw a lot of influences from that band. But the movie about the Replacements was done like 12 years ago and it was on YouTube or whatever. So, you know, I can tell by the way he talked that he's very serious about music. Like he takes it extremely seriously. So in stark contrast to the last band we're talking about, the Goo Goo Dolls, who are just like, you know, that album is pretty juvenile and in a lot of ways not as they didn't put as much like thought into it before they made it, you know. And
I feel like this album is gonna be here and be talked about, loved, and adored in another 100 years.
It's different, right? It's a different sentiment.
Dude, there is no album that sounds like this to me. I've never heard one. There probably is somewhere, but I haven't heard it. And I feel like this kind of band, you try to go, oh, they should go with these guys. And you're like, oh, they don't really fit with them. And you go, oh, how about like, what's that band? The Menzingers. And you're like, nah, they don't really fit with the Menzingers either. But it's like, oh, what about this? They're in a land of their own, man. But if you listen to their first album, I think you'll like that one way better because you like really noisy stuff. And their first album is like this, but with a little bit more noise over it.
I just like stuff with a little more grit to it. I like things that are a little like
you'll like their first
around
album
the
more.
edges, you know?
Right?
Yeah. And again, I mean, like the production, this is a super produced record. It's very like they took a lot of time in the studio.
Well, it's crazy because it's on side one dummy, dude. Like this is like it's got the production value of a major label release.
I want to know who actually produced the record. I want to know who the engineer. Like I'm a nerd about that kind of shit. Like I'm a big dork. So because I feel like
that's the stuff I don't really care about, but I'm interested in knowing just for your.
They did a really good job with the production on this record. But
so I don't know who these people are, but it says the production was done by Ted Hutt, Ryan Mall, Tom Baker did the audio mastering, Lisa Johnson and Jonas Kleiner did the art.
Idea.
Yeah, I know. Like I
no idea.
Well, okay, so like
they did great, but
so the actual music production was done by Ted Hutt and Ryan Mall.
Okay.
But let's see. Yeah, I mean it's stuff that's out of my league. Like it's stuff that I don't know anything about. Have you ever heard the Horrible? Probably not. Never mind. You wouldn't like the Horrible Crows. It's just like this was slower. Yeah, Brian Fallon does his own music too. He does his own thing.
Yeah,
I mean, I feel like he's got a similar soul to Eddie Vedder. I don't like Pearl Jam's music, but I can feel like these two dudes probably like the same kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, I bet he does like the Replacements, and I you know,
But it's funny in that video he was saying that, yeah, I heard their first, the one that we did the video on, my favorite album. He's like, yeah, I didn't like that one. He's like, I like the later stuff, like where they actually were like writing like serious songs and stuff. I'm like, okay. So it's like, even as a punk, and he even admitted in the video, he's like, you know, I wasn't really into like the like noisy hardcore punk stuff that everyone else was into. Like I gravitated more toward the real like songwriting kind of stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And like he's like, I'm a punk, but like, you know, I'm sure in his community with his friends, there's the kids are like the hardcore kids, and there are kids who are like, dude, fucking Husker Du, or like whatever. And he was probably like, yeah, but like, I don't want noise. Like I want, you know, melody and structure and like, you know, different stuff.
I relate to that because dude, like I've said a million times, Husker Du's guitar sounds fine. The vocals are not that great to me, but like I can't get into like the shit that's on top of all that because there's like
it's a wall of noise.
Yeah, I fucking can't do it, man. It just, and I so want to. Dude, if I could just go, I like that band, I would, because what do I care? Like,
look, you're not the only one. There's like 25 people in the chat that are like, please don't play that band.
You're not wrong.
You know, I mean, it's an acquired taste. There's like 3 people that like write hard for him in the chat. So, I mean, you know, I'm in the minority anyway. Without talking about them, I'm just saying that like he obviously, you know, he's taking influences from a lot of different things, and he's putting them into a package.
Well, I think he was born in the wrong decade, bro. This dude should have been born in 1940. Like,
yeah. I'm glad. I mean, he's a really good songwriter. Like he deserves all the credit that he can get, and I hope he has a great career.
Well, their album after this was called American Slang. It's also, I would say, right below this as far as some people say it's better. I don't think it is. I think it's right below this, but I think they have a 3-album run where it's. I mean, it is.
Did they get even more kind of like Americana throughout their career?
American Slang sounds like it was probably written and recorded in the same session. Like it sounds identical. It's like, but Sink or Swim is a little more grittier. So it's it runs right along with Rancid in my opinion, man. And
yeah.
But their 4th album was called. I'll be honest. I kind of fell off with their 4th record because it wasn't. It got more melodic and slower. Their latest album even was like. I liked it a lot, but it's not even close to the same quality as this is.
It's getting further away from.
Yeah, but his solo stuff is really, really good in my opinion. Oh, they did an album called Handwritten also that was pretty good in 2012. So they did American Slang in 2010 was right after this. So it was like 59 Sound. Within like a year, they had American Slang, and you could tell that they were all probably written in a vacuum. Like all these songs probably, but then. Handwritten came out, and you could see like, okay, they're starting to head down a different path, a little more melodic, They have Get Hurt, also really good. I mean, the thing is they don't have like
more melodic. They're already really fucking melodic though.
They don't have an album that I would consider bad. They just have like different degrees of how much I like them. And you know, Get Hurt, and Handwritten are both really solid records. But maybe melodic's not the right word, but I feel like it is. But it's like the tempo slows down on more songs than it does on the other two. Like there's like when you listen to Sink or Swim, you're like, oh yeah, every song almost is like got this like real good fast tempo to it. And then on 59 Sound, they really mix that up, and on American Sling, they really mix that up. But then on like the next two, you're like, oh, it's more slower songs with a few up tempo songs, and that's where I was like, I still like them, but I want some fucking electricity run through my music. And
no, I think with this album, like honestly, for me, my only gripe is the energy is more subdued on this record for the most part. It's not about the energy on this record, you know?
No.
So, you know, that's what I was looking for, I think. But the second, then I kind of was like, I put all my preconceptions to the side and was like, just take it for what it is. I enjoyed it more, you know?
That's what's up. Well, I mean, that's exactly why I try to listen to the stuff that sometimes you like and I don't. It's because I want to just go, all right, let me listen to this. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I've given my.
I also ended up liking a few songs on this record that I probably will keep enjoying.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
So before I ask you which ones, because I do want to know, this is so random that this band was on a tribute album for Bob Dylan,
Yeah.
and the next year a tribute album for Tony Sly.
Yep.
That's awesome. Doesn't that feel like it makes sense? You're like, oh, I can see that. All right, sorry. Okay, what songs is it that you enjoyed the most off this album?
Sorry. Well, I'm gonna go down the list here. I liked the 59 sound. I like the title track.
So good, dude.
Old White Lincoln was good.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed High Lonesome. My favorite song on the album was Casanova Baby.
I knew you were gonna say that one. I knew. I was looking right at it, and I was like waiting for you to say it.
For some reason, that's the one that I enjoyed the most.
Okay.
It reminds me a lot of like American Steel, a little bit. Like
they have, dude. All these dudes have similar influences. It's just about their execution. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Within like American Steel, honestly, Goo Goo Dolls, Lawrence Arms, Gaslight Anthem, they all have these similar things. And then it's like, okay, there's their bedrock. Now, what is on top of the bedrock is what changes their sound, in my opinion.
Exactly. I agree with you. And then Meet Me by the River's Edge is a good song. Here's Looking at You, Kid. Those are probably my top.
My top 3 songs on the album. I always go with the top 3. It's just the way I like to things. I like the whole record. But the 59 sound, Here's Looking at You, Kid, and of course, Even Cowgirls Get the Blues, because that's one of my favorite songs, just period. But those 3 songs I could pretty much hear anytime, any day, and never, ever, ever get tired of them. Like, I don't think I'll ever say, let's skip the rest of the song. Like, those 3 songs are always going to be in my in the vicinity of my ears, bro.
Sure.
I'll be listening to them.
You know what I also heard on this record a little bit? You might not agree. I heard some like Saves the Day, Taking Back Sunday type influence.
So I don't listen to those bands enough to know.
Like New Jersey, like emo from like the late 90s.
You're probably right. I just don't listen to those bands enough. I hated Taking Back Sunday, and Saves the Day is
Taking Back Sunday might even be from California. I don't know. But
they got a couple good songs.
But it's interesting to me all the influences that this band pulls from, and they do it in a way that kind of makes it their own, and I applaud them for that.
Isn't that cool, man?
Yeah,
I think they're that's what it is, dude. They're fucking cool, man. Like, their music is cool. You can hear this and go, damn, bro, these guys definitely get
the girls are gonna go to the Gaslight Anthem concert, bro.
Yes,
you want to be where the girls are at? Don't go to the fucking, I don't know.
Whatever. Yeah, don't go see fucking Anal Cunt and fucking
hardcore bands.
Yeah. Don't go with me to go see fucking Pistol Grip like in One Man Army. They're not gonna be there. Like,
it's gonna be a bunch of dudes being like, yeah, bro, this band's great. Fuck yeah.
Dude, for real.
But the girls are gonna go to the Gaslight Anthem show.
Yeah, they are. All of them. I saw these guys play with who did I see them play with? It was a weird ass lineup, dude. It was like a real like street punk band and Gaslight Anthem. And I remember the Gaslight Anthem opened. It was before they were real big.
Mm-hmm.
And the place was jam-packed. And I remember being like, damn, there's a lot of chicks here. And I think they were like, most of them were like on dates with dudes or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But as soon as Gaslight was done, God, I wish I could remember who the band was that they were opening for, man. It was a big punk band. Dude, half the audience left. I couldn't believe it, dude. It was in this place called
yeah, that's kind of shitty.
What's that fucking place called? It was a Houston place. It was a big, damn, they had like 3 or 4 rooms. I can't remember. Street Dogs used to play the small room all the time. Like all the time. They packed it out. Anyways, dude, it was crazy. I saw Rancid and NoFX on the same night there once. That was crazy, dude.
Nice, man.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And it's funny. It's funny. Like, I wrote all these notes like shit all over this band earlier today. But then I was like, you know what, dude? Like, and that was on my first listen. And then when I took my walk with my dog, I listened to it again, and I'm like, it's sunny outside. I see people around. I'm like, it just hit me differently, right?
Dude, this is the kind of album that you can listen to with the windows open, and people won't be offended.
No, I know, right? Right. Maybe that's the problem. I just want to offend people all the time.
Yeah, you do.
No, it was good, man. It was good. I enjoyed it.
Well, I mean, it's a 10 out of 10 for me. Like but I'm very biased. This is a band that
I know. I can tell that you really, really love this band. So, I mean,
you know what's funny is I rarely bring them up on the show or anything like that and I don't really know why. I love them.
I'm sure people would love it if you played it.
There's like these like stages in my life where I got to these bands before a bunch of other people did, and I felt like I was like, yeah. So like American Steel, Murder City Devils,
Yeah.
Gaslight Anthem. Like I knew about these bands before all my friends did, and I think there's this like, you know what? All three of those bands. Think about this: American Steel, Murder City Devils, Gaslight Anthem. They're all jean jacket bands.
Yeah, I would say.
I love that jean jacket shit, bro.
American Steel looks way less cool than these guys do. I mean, you see them; they're just a bunch of schmoes.
Yeah, but they're all like jean jacket types. Like I know who I used to hang out with when I listened to that shit. We all wore jean jackets, bro. There's jean jacket bands.
Got it.
Yeah, they're fucking cool, man. They're all jean jacket bands. I like jean jacket bands.
Nah, I feel that.
That's my new shit, dude. Jean jacket punk. Let's go.
By the way, I found this guy's Instagram, the singer, Brian Fallon.
Yeah.
And he's holding that book that we got. Leatherface.
No shit.
Yeah. He's like, Leatherface is one of the top 5 most important bands to me.
You know what?
Since the moment I heard them in 1999.
Also doesn't surprise me.
I mean, no, I think it's cool, but that he endorses his book. So
you're like, fuck, this guy's band sucks. Oh wait, never mind. He's all right.
Nah, I didn't think that, man. I didn't think that at all. I think that honestly, this is the kind of band that like could have made a lot of money at the right time if they wanted to.
They do all right. I think they do. I think they do pretty good. So, you know who else likes this band a lot?
Who?
Chris Klink, my homie.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
He loves Gaslight Anthem. So
I can see
he'll be watching this one. I'm sure he'll have some comments where I was wrong about some shit. He knows way more about most things than I do that pertain to music.
All right, well, we covered it.
Yep. Okay, what were we going to talk about next time? We had something picked out. It was crust punk shit, wasn't it?
We're going a different direction. We're going
a little bit.
We're going noisy. We're doing Skid System and not Discharge. I think we're doing
Tragedy.
Tragedy.
Yeah, Tragedy.
All right, dude. I'm gonna take this.
Tragedy. Was it Vengeance? I can't hear you now.
Yeah, Vengeance.
Okay. What's up, little doggy?
This fucking dude.
All right, hold on. So, Skid System. What's the album called?
It's like a discography record. It's called Alt E Skit. ALLT, and then E, and then SKIT.
Perfect.
Yeah. It's. I mean, I only brought that one up because like I found that in like a box like my friend gave me. I didn't know anything about that band, and I played it. And I'm like, this is fucking cool. So
I can already tell you that I'm gonna have a hard time getting through that one.
Yeah, it's pretty abrasive, dude. But the songs are short and they're bangers. I mean,
well, the thing is that I fucking like that kind of music, but I have to have it with a little bit less white noise. And there's a lot of bands that have that. So I mean, there's a lot of like D-beat and crust that I do like.
I mean, I purposely picked the noisiest crust for you to play on the stream. So
I know you do that. Me and Rob are doing.
You took your headphones off at on the last stream.
I have to, dude. It gives me a real. It like sincerely gives me a headache.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to fuck you up like that.
No, it's all good. I have like really bad like hearing and shit problems from a head injury, memory problems, all kinds of stuff. Me and Rob are doing the Filth and Blatt split and the Grimple and Logical Nonsense split.
Okay.
Yeah, dude, that's gonna be a crazy episode. Good shit, dude.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good one.
Especially since like Rob's like he can say whatever he wants, but he's not the kind of guy that listens to that shit regularly.
No, he's not. With the No Effects hat on every time.
Yeah, I love Rob so much, dude, but he doesn't listen to that stuff all the time.
Yeah,
like I don't even listen to it all the time, but I know I listen to it more than he does.
What does he listen to? Like all the fat stuff?
He likes the stuff. Yeah, fat, and he likes Fat and Epitaph, and then Just Below the Surface.
Okay, so he doesn't like dig too deep.
No, but he does dig below the surface. He does. He's not like a Warped Tour only kid. He's like a Warped Tour plus kid, if that makes any sense. And I mean that with all respect. I'm not talking any shit.
Warped Tour plus.
What's wrong with that?
It's just funny. It's just a funny like statement. It's like,
but you know what I meant.
Warped Tour plus. Yeah, it's just funny. It's like,
don't act like you were too cool to go to the Warped Tour.
I fucking loved it. I have a Lagwagon shirt, bro. I wear that shit.
That's your fault.
Hey. Dude, all these punks, all these like too cool for school punks that are like, oh, dude, underground, fucking whatever, dude. Like, I'm like,
yeah,
bitch, you had the Survival of the Fattest CD and you loved it. Shut the fuck up.
For real. I'm actually gonna make a whole video. It's gonna be called "The Problem with Punk Rockers," and I've been saving screenshotted comments. I'm gonna put all these dudes on blast.
Yeah, man. Everyone's like too like ashamed to admit that they like this stuff. I'm like, man, you like this shit. Nothing wrong with that.
It's because they're a bunch of insecure little whiny babies.
This shit fucking shaped you, bro.
I'm gonna go shape some chicken breast into something and make a fucking sandwich. So
do it, man. Do it. Okay. Well, this is good talk, man.
Yeah, dude. So we got what Skitsism and Tragedy. All right, dude. Tragedy. Do you listen to From Ashes Rise?
I do. I like Tragedy more though.
Oh, see, I like From Ashes Rise a little bit more. I like them both, but I like From Ashes Rise a little bit more.
It's a different singer than Tragedy.
Yeah, I like his vocals a little bit more. They're more higher pitched. Yeah. I think. Yeah. We'll talk about it more later. I'll probably bring up a whole bunch of shit.
Yeah,
I'm probably gonna get corrected a lot too.
Like I'm open to changing it too. We don't have to do these records, bro.
Well, let me see if I can get through Skitsism. If I can make it through without like just turning it off, then let's do it.
It might be too noisy for you. If you can't handle the record, fuck it. We'll do something else.
If I can't handle it, let's pick something like maybe do something with Discharge or something people will know.
Okay, sounds good.
But I'll give this one the good old college try, bro. It's all good.
Give it a college try.
All right, fuckers, y'all be good and come back and see us next time. Go to see that fest in New York. Go to Punk Rock Bowling. Watch Bullshit Detector. Dude, I can't believe 331 Records bands are going to play Punk Rock Bowling this year. That shit blew my mind when I found that out.
Major plug.
How crazy is that, dude?
Fucking go, bro.
Yeah, man. We're very close to 11,000, which in my opinion just means that we're pretty close to 20, which is a very big jump. But
is 11,000 a lot of subscribers? I don't know. Okay.
Yeah, dude. Every time I tell somebody that I'm at almost 11K, they're like, "Damn, how long you been doing it?" I'm like, 2 years. They're like, "Holy shit!" So yeah, it's pretty good, man. Now, is it in the grand scheme of things? No, my goals are like way more than that. But for 2 years, 11K, pretty solid. I'm happy.
How much does that Frampton guy have?
He's got like 20, but he's been doing it for like 6-7 years. So by the time I've done doing it for 6 years, if I don't have more than 20 by like a lot more, I'm gonna quit. So, shout out Dan Frampton for being like an insufferable fucking dramatic fucking. Like, what's up with him, dude? Dan, what are you doing, man? Like, chill, bro. You're fine. Like, you're overreacting, dude. Like, I feel like he's like losing his fucking mind.
Is he?
I don't know, man. Like every time I see him, I feel like he's like leaning so far in the direction of like schlock that he's becoming his own thing he talks shit about. I don't know, man. It's weird. I feel like he just like really panicked when he had that community violations thing, and he just leaned. I don't know, dude. I watched some of his stuff, and I can barely get through it now. Something has changed a lot, and it bothers me because I like him, and I'm like, I don't want to have a negative opinion.
Maybe you can have a heart to heart with him.
I don't know that he would listen, but I would be very open to talking to him because I do care about the guy's success. I don't want him to be unhappy. I can hear you back there, Crazy. Come say hi to Diddy real quick before I get off here. Come here, Parker. Yeah. Come here, Crazy. Come here, Crazy.
Hey, bud.
Say hi. Hey, look at him. He's waving.
Oh, hi. Hi. I want the big thing.
The big what? The big headphones?
No, these.
The big microphone?
Yeah.
This is the big microphone, silly.
I want to use it.
Well, you can talk in it. He can hear you. You want me to turn it on so you can hear it?
Yes.
Here, look.
Oh, here we go.
I'm turning it on where I can hear you talk to him. All right. Say hi to Nitty.
I'm already.
There you
Oh my God! It's so loud.
You hear him?
Yes.
Parker, do you like punk rock?
Yes.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite?
That's your singing style. Dude, this is all day, every day, bro.
Mister, you are a chicken butt.
You're a chicken butt. That's not very nice.
Dude, I hear that all the time. I know.
All right, tell Nitty good night. We got to go. Let him go to bed.
Good night.
Good night.
Later, bud.
Later, bud. Bye-bye.
Bye.